Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Kody's crude accusations about Janelle ring true? As the dust settles from Sister Wives season 19, Janelle Brown's shocking reveal indicates Kody Brown's recent disturbing accusations about her hold some truth. During this last season, the layers peeled back on all the spouses who once made up a plural family. Fans learned that some of what they believed for years while watching the TLC series was untrue. They also discovered there was much more to the Sister Wives spouses' personalities than they ever imagined. Sister Wives, Kody Brown goes on a rant about Janelle Brown. Sister Wives fans were used to Kody Brown praising himself as a great husband on the TLC series. He seemed to think that his wives had taken advantage of him. But when it came to Janelle Brown, Kody felt she used him for one thing. Kody went on a rant about Janelle. This rant was his reason for not trying to save his marriage with Janelle when Robyn Brown pushed him to do so. His spiel included what Janelle Brown wanted from him. And he was tired of it. The patriarch of Sister Wives said that Janelle used him to get his body. Kody said, "So Janelle's not in love with me. I think she thinks I'm hot. I've got nice pecs and great six-pack abs. But that's all she's interested in." Massive backlash for Kody's inflated ego. The Sister Wives viewers watched the clip in which Kody Brown portrayed himself as a boy toy for Janelle Brown. Then the fans threw everything but the kitchen sink at Kody for his inflated ego. We were informed when the Sister Wives series premiered on television that Janelle and Kody had a more intellectual than romantic connection. In fact, when Janelle became a member of the Brown family as his second wife, Mary Brown stated that this made her life much simpler. Mary considered herself a romantic wife and very affectionate with Kody. But, because Janelle was more like a buddy to Kody, Mary's jealousy was at a minimum. So, this is how Janelle was portrayed to the fans of the show. She was like one of his guy friends as far as Kody was concerned. Sister Wives, Janelle sheds her buddy theme. We learned that Janelle Brown was missing Kody in her bed as season 19 progressed. She said this herself, so it is not a rumor. The fans were then taken aback by Janelle Brown's response to Suki's questions during those one-on-one segments. Janelle confessed to Suki, "Everybody has this idea just because I didn't want to have assembly line kisses with Kody or whatever, that I was asexual." Janelle said this about her plural marriage. She then added, "I promise you. I'm not asexual. I promise you." She even went a bit farther by throwing out how frustrating it could be without a man around. This is how she explained it: "The hormones are hell when you're single, but you know, it's like you just deal with it or whatever." So, while Kody made a very cruel delivery on Sister Wives when first accusing Janelle of only wanting his body, it looks like there was some truth in what he said. Since splitting with Kody, Janelle's theme surrounding her split seemed to focus on only missing Kody in her bed. But Kody didn't do much for Janelle as his wife toward the end of their marriage in any other way. Fans point out he wasn't being the father he once was. And Janelle was pretty much on her own. So, if she could grab a little bit of pleasure now and then, many viewers of the TLC series suggest that Kody owed her at least that much. Throughout Sister Wives season 19, Kody Brown was more defensive, angrier, and more self-righteous than ever before. His relationships with Christine, Mary, and Janelle had imploded, each for different reasons, but Janelle's departure stung particularly hard. She had always been seen as the most loyal, the most level-headed, and the least dramatic of all his wives. So when Kody claimed that Janelle used him for sex, fans were stunned. In his words, "Janelle's not in love with me. I think she thinks I'm hot. I've got nice pecs and great six-pack abs. But that's all she's interested in." This wasn't just a complaint, it was a full-blown ego trip. Kody seemed to view himself as some kind of irresistible physical specimen, completely overlooking the emotional neglect and controlling behavior that had driven his wives away. The backlash was immediate and brutal, with fans flooding social media to mock his arrogance. But buried under the bravado was a grain of truth, one that was only visible later, when Janelle started telling her side of the story. The myth of the platonic marriage. For years, the prevailing narrative around Janelle and Kody's marriage was that they had a practical, friendship-based partnership. In fact, Mary once famously claimed that she was able to tolerate Janelle as a sister wife because she knew Kody wasn't romantically drawn to her. Janelle was the buddy, the business partner, the brainiac who shared property investments and strategic discussions with Kody. Their connection was more cerebral than sensual, and viewers accepted this as gospel. So when Kody claimed that Janelle was sexually motivated in their marriage, it sounded wildly out of character. The Janelle fans had seen for nearly 2 decades was not a woman driven by passion. If anything, she came off as deeply independent, self-sufficient, and uninterested in the trappings of romance. But then season 19 changed all of that. Janelle Brown, the surprising confessions that changed everything. In one of the most revealing moments of Sister Wives history, Janelle sat down with Suki during the one-on-one tell-all segments and completely shattered the myth of her being asexual or emotionally disconnected. When asked about her relationship with Kody, Janelle was refreshingly honest. "Everybody has this idea just because I didn't want to have assembly line kisses with Kody or whatever, that I was asexual. I promise you. I'm not asexual. I promise you." That statement alone forced fans to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about her. She wasn't just the stoic wife who focused on work and raising kids. She had needs, desires, frustrations, and yes, sexual cravings. She even elaborated further, saying, "The hormones are hell when you're single, but it's like you just deal with it or whatever." For a woman once painted as the logical wife, these candid remarks revealed a woman with depth and longing, someone who had perhaps stayed too long in a loveless marriage out of duty, but who still wanted more than companionship. Was Kody right, for the wrong reasons? Let's be clear, Kody's comments about Janelle came across as egotistical, dismissive, and cruel. He wasn't speaking from a place of love or understanding, but rather bitterness and insecurity. However, in light of Janelle's confessions, it becomes possible that he wasn't entirely wrong about her physical interest, only that he misunderstood it entirely. Kody's mistake was assuming Janelle's desire invalidated the rest of her feelings. He made it sound like she saw him as a piece of meat, a boy toy, rather than acknowledging the full scope of her emotions and frustrations. It's not that Janelle only wanted Kody for sex, it's that sex was one of the many needs in a relationship that he failed to meet. And when the emotional, spiritual, and parental bonds eroded, physical intimacy may have been the only semblance of connection left between them. In that context, her craving for his presence in bed wasn't shallow, it was human. Fans react: sympathy for Janelle, scorn for Kody. The internet exploded with sympathy for Janelle following her tell-all revelations. Suddenly, the quiet strength she had displayed for years took on new meaning. Viewers praised her honesty and vulnerability, calling her one of the most relatable and resilient cast members. In contrast, Kody faced a deluge of criticism. His inability to offer even a fraction of the transparency that Janelle did made his accusations seem not only petty but deeply unfair. Reddit threads and Twitter/X discussions labeled him everything from delusional to toxic, with many fans speculating that Kody couldn't handle the fact that his wives, once submissive, were now evolving and telling the truth. Robyn Brown's role in the narrative. It's worth noting that the only wife still with Kody, Robyn Brown, had a front-row seat to his rant about Janelle. When she urged him to fix things with Janelle, he responded with this self-important monologue about being used for his body. Instead of taking accountability or making an effort to repair his fractured marriage, Kody turned it into a pity party about how objectified he supposedly felt. Robyn, whether consciously or not, allowed the conversation to remain centered on Kody's ego instead of Janelle's pain. She didn't challenge his distorted view, and in doing so, contributed to the growing distance between Kody and his ex-wives. The bigger picture: emotional neglect and the breakdown of the Brown family. At the end of the day, the issue wasn't about sex, it was about neglect. For years, Kody was physically and emotionally absent from Janelle's life. She managed the household, took care of their children, and remained a supportive partner through countless challenges. But when the intimacy faded and he became more focused on Robyn and his own grievances, Janelle was left with nothing. So if she missed his body, it wasn't because she was superficial. It was because it was the last thing connecting them, and when that disappeared, she had to face the fact that she was completely alone. This is what fans saw in season 19, not a shallow woman using a man, but a neglected wife mourning the last traces of affection from a man she once cared for deeply. Conclusion: was Kody right? Only in the most twisted way. Kody Brown's accusation that Janelle was only interested in his body was, in the most technical sense, partially accurate, but it was his framing that made it entirely wrong. Janelle never denied her physical desires, but they were tied to a complex web of unmet needs, emotional disappointment, and the human yearning for closeness. She wasn't objectifying him, she was grieving the collapse of a marriage that had long been in decline. By weaponizing her honesty and twisting it into a self-serving narrative, Kody once again revealed his inability to see his wives as full people with legitimate needs and emotions. And that, more than any six-pack or set of pecs, is what truly ended the marriage. When Robyn Brown entered the Brown family in 2010, the dynamic of the household changed immediately. Unlike the other three wives, Robyn came into the family with 3 children from a previous marriage and a different set of expectations. She was treated delicately, differently, almost reverently, by Kody. From the beginning, fans noticed that Kody seemed to favor her. He was more affectionate, more patient, and more willing to bend the rules for Robyn. He even legally divorced Mary, his first wife, in order to legally marry Robyn in 2014 so he could adopt her children. This legal marriage set Robyn apart. While the rest of the wives had spiritual marriages with Kody, Robyn had the legal and financial upper hand. This fueled resentment among the other wives and tension in the family. Yet, for nearly a decade, Robyn and Kody seemed unshakable. They were emotionally and physically inseparable, almost to the point of alienating everyone else in the family. Christine, Janelle, and Mary leave one by one. It didn't happen overnight. But over time, the cracks began to show. Christine, tired of feeling unloved and unwanted, was the first to leave. Her departure was monumental. She packed up and moved to Utah, officially ending her spiritual marriage to Kody in 2021. Then came Janelle, who had been Kody's most practical and financially independent wife. She tried to make things work but ultimately couldn't ignore the blatant favoritism Kody showed Robyn. After months of public tension and behind-the-scenes feuding, Janelle also walked away. Lastly, Mary, the original matriarch, released a quiet statement confirming she and Kody were no longer together. She had long been emotionally estranged from him, but her official exit marked the end of an era. At that point, Robyn became Kody's only remaining wife, legally and spiritually. She was finally in the monogamous relationship she claimed she never wanted. But ironically, she was more miserable than ever. The legal bombshell, Kody's final move. Robyn may have thought she won the battle, but what happened next proved that no one truly wins when a family implodes. According to court documents that surfaced in mid-2025, Kody had quietly made changes to key legal documents related to Coyote Pass, the large property in Flagstaff, Arizona, that the Browns had once hoped to build on together. In a shocking move, Kody removed Robyn's name from certain financial assets and trust documents, effectively isolating her from future earnings related to their former joint investments. More importantly, Kody established a new legal entity, without Robyn's inclusion, that holds ownership of what's left of the Coyote Pass parcels. While Mary and Janelle had recently sold their shares for an estimated combined $1.5 million, Kody restructured the holdings to ensure Robyn could no longer claim any stake in the remaining assets. The man she had protected, defended, and supported, often at the expense of the other wives, had betrayed her in a way she never saw coming. Why Kody did it, theories and motives. Kody hasn't fully explained his decision, but fans and analysts have theories. 1. Kody wants total autonomy. After years of managing multiple relationships, children, and joint businesses, Kody may simply want control over what's left. Cutting Robyn out of the legal picture allows him to manage assets and decisions without consulting anyone else, not even his last remaining wife. 2. Financial pressure. Legal filings suggest Kody may have accumulated significant debt during the final years of the show. Cutting Robyn out of shared liability could be a move to protect himself financially, or to shield her from creditors in a convoluted strategy that's hard to defend morally. 3. An exit strategy. Some fans speculate Kody is preparing to leave Robyn, too. He stripped away her legal ties, distanced himself from her emotionally in recent public appearances, and hasn't